Yeah, so we're here at West Ham, former Wolves, Spain, Real Madrid boss Lopetegui replacing David Moyes as manager. You, of course, on David's coaching staff at the club. You obviously had loads of fond memories there, enjoyed your time.
Yeah, I mean, look, even going back to playing days, going as we spoke a bit earlier when the gaffer was on, talking about dropping down a division, because that year was probably my best in the Premier League with Newcastle. To take that step and then, get them back up on the first time of asking, fantastic day out at Wembley. And then keep, you know how hard it is once you get up, Jay, you to stay up and then do the way we did, and we made it look quite easy, and then we put them in a really good spot, and and then to go back in the coaching capacity when they looked down and out, we kept them up, and was major part of that, and then to get them in Europe 3 years on the spin, 2 semi-finals of Europa League, where we lost probably to should have been eventual winners by Leverkusen, and then in the other one was sorry, I can't, just totally gone out of my head there, but then to win the Conference League was a fantastic achievement, after all those years of not winning a trophy. So yeah, great memories, mate, and one's what'll live with me forever, and hopefully it's not done. Hopefully there's another chapter in there, and that'll see me out one day return, and whether that's in another coaching capacity or as an head coach or a manager,
look, obviously David Moyes is a brilliant manager, right? We know that, and a lot of time he comes under a bit of stick for his style of football, but you must have learned a lot from him.
Yeah, and we spoke really early on in the show about his work ethic. And being, if any fan could have seen, how hard he made us work and what he, wanted us to do to make sure that we continue to keep on top of the place and keep on top of people and the lads to make us successful. And you don't get there without hard work. And I think that's what he made. He made a team who were, grafters who would actually, put a shift in every week. And that's what a lot of the West Ham fans wanted. And probably at the end of his tenure, they wanted to see that along with a bit more style, if you like, and using probably words which they have. But it was unfortunate because I think.
Did you think that was a bit harsh though? People talk about style. You're being there as a coach and you're hearing that. You must be thinking, that's not how we want to. It's hard, the Premier League.
Of course, and I mean, David's been successful in what he's done, at Everton, and then to do what he's done at West Ham, and he was that type of, that's his management style and what he wants to do. So as coaches, you've got to make sure that you get the best out of the lads doing that, and try to bring in and add things and be there and keep challenging, at the right times, and I think we did that, and I think with what he's done, he's put West Ham back on the map in the European capacity. So obviously with the new manager coming in now, it's going to be big shoes to fill, with what's being asked of him to probably change his style as well as keep the success with what's been with past. You got
to get in Europe. Earlier on this morning we asked West Ham fans, get in touch with your questions for former captain and coach Kevin Nolan. Let's get into it. Here's the first question.
Hi Kev, my name's Jake. I'm a season ticket holder at West Ham. My question to you is, why do you think we are so cursed when it comes down to the number 9, the striker position? Obviously, when you were at West Ham, you had Skamaka, Haller, I suppose you could even say Danny Ings. We don't really seem to get the most out of the forwards. But why do you think that is?
It's interesting, this one. Going back to Seb, I mean, you look at it and we come in at a time and Seb was. He was sort of struggling, he'd had his struggling time and we couldn't sort of change it round. So, and I think he'd had his time. And then with Gianluca, it was really interesting because I remember when he first come in, and I remember doing the first session with him and, taking him for a sort of forward session, but more of a fitness type with lots of finishing and lots of movement in and around the box and everything else. And I remember him, and he was blowing up quite quickly and quite easily. And he said, I need to get fitter, I need to get more physical. But we probably got Gianluca 2 or 3 years early, but we and now looking back, well, at the time we thought he could handle it, because of the physicality, the Premier League and everything else, and he played a major part. He didn't have a really poor season. He scored some really important goals, especially in the European run as well, but getting to the final and stuff. But he sort of made his mind up then that he wanted to leave and he wanted to get back to Italy because he was going back a lot. He got injured, went back a lot to Italy, and I think he got really homesick because he's a very home bird, you know, and really close to his family. So yeah, that was unfortunate, you know. And then obviously Danny just probably hasn't had the minutes on the pitch to sort of prove that he can, you know, still score goals and do everything else. But it's not for the want of hard work. He works his socks off every day in training, wants to do extras and all that type of stuff. So yeah, I mean, hopefully that should be something which changes. Certainly right, for that. Yeah.
All right. Got one here. Someone's messaged in. Who is the most underrated player in the West Ham team? That's from Colin in Guildford.
That's quite a good one actually. I mean, look, I think we had a really good squad. I thought if anything, and it was only probably last year, I'd say Jared Bourne was massively underrated. It's only now sort of people talk.
Is he that good? Is he that good?
What he's done, Jay, he's made himself a Premier League player, now a top Premier League player. When he first come, obviously you buy him for 20 odd million, you take that gamble because he was a championship because he was one of the best in the championship. Yeah. What he is now, he's one of the top ones in the Premier League. Yeah. And so, you know, I think everyone now speaks, whenever you speak about him now, you think he's a top player. Yeah. You know, probably a year ago you didn't.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? Until he scores that goal, you look at his, then you start looking back and thinking, actually, he's made really massive contributions to West Ham. He's done this, he's done that, and then his output last year in Europe and in the Premier League, he's now doing it. Then to get himself and force himself into the England squad. So I probably, off the top of my head, I think he was probably the one, but he's probably the easiest one to pick. Yeah. And unfortunately, he's just left to go to Ipswich. I really like Ben Johnson. He was someone who I thought was very underrated in terms of what I believed. He's really good. He could play left back, right back, centre half. He plays in a 3. He can play as a sitter. He come on as a midfielder for us away at Sheffield United when we'd lost a lot of players. So yeah, he was a top player, and Ipswich have got a top player there. So I think, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing him playing week in, week out, and seeing if he can handle it, and seeing if, you know, I was right.
If you were right, yeah. Right, let's get the next one.
Morning, Jay. Morning, Skipper. Kev, just wondered, did you ever frequent a nightclub so often that they actually named an area after you?
I know who that is.
Yeah, we all know who that is, don't we? Jesus Christ.
That's our mate Scott Cummins.
How did we let him on?
I bet you've had a few nights out at his establishment.
Talking about Peroni today, now talking about nightclubs and places. Yeah, I mean, look, what a guy. Yeah, whenever, obviously, I used to have my family down a lot. And my brother and all my friends used to come to all the games. So yeah, we always used to go to Scotty's place. 15 at the time. Remember 15, Jay Smith, who's now Italian, and then we'd always end up around with Scotty and Dave King and the lads. So
trying to avoid them,
that's what I'm trying to do that now. You know what I mean? Trying to forget about that. Trying to become professional, but listen, great lads,
good people, West Ham people. Of
course,
I look after their own. Being Spurs fan, but they got good people.
They look after their own, Jay, and that's one thing I will say. And everyone, even around, you know, when I first come down to as they say, Essex, I was really worried about, you know, when watching Towie and stuff like that. Oh my God, is this how Essex is going to be? And I don't think I'll be able to fit in. But didn't realise how big Essex was until you come down here. You think it's just like a little town. But I mean, I can't thank everyone enough for taking me and for friends, you know. And as you said, not only the West Ham people, mate. I lived in Epping for a long time. I've got all my friends are, you know, Tottenham fans, Arsenal fans, you know, and I still speak to them all now, you know, and they've always looked after me and looked out for me. So they go a long way. So I thank all of them for that, and especially Scotty and Dave, because they looked after me when I was down here as well.
He is a great lad. I've got a question for you. It was not on my list, but I'm going to ask it anyway, because you've had a great career. You must have played with some great players. Best player you played with and best player you played against?
Yeah, I mean, with probably, I'll tell you what it was. It was probably the player with. I mean, I can go on all day. We can talk, and I'd say probably Nico, but I want to speak about Yuri on this one, because I've never really give him the credit what he deserved. Like, he come to Bolton when, like, you know, that first year. Yeah. And the 3 teams what got promoted and never ever stayed up, and we had Blackburn, we had Fulham, remember Sagana years, if you remember. and we come up during the through the playoffs, beat Preston 3-0. David Moyes was the manager of Preston at the time, and we brought Yuri in, and the difference he made to not only me as a young lad watching him and seeing how good he was and what he did and the professionalism, but the changes he made to, you know, old school players and what he made them do, like a Paul Warhurst, like a Dean Alder at the time. You know, he professionalised us very quickly, as well as Sam, you know, and just all them little things which were great. So I'd say him was one of the best I played with.
Okay,
definitely. And fantastic fella, fantastic lad, fantastic fella. Played against, mate, Jesus Christ, you know.
So
I
many,
mean, the one who always stands out is the Stevie. You know, Stevie's
I
the
always
top
say
one.
Gerrard.
Yeah, he's like, I mean, because he could do anything. I mean, everyone doesn't realise how good he was, because, like, until you're actually there and you think, actually, I've got him, I'm having a good game here, I'm doing all right. Next minute, he's just scored a goal, and you're thinking, didn't see that one there. You know what I mean? And it was just the way he was. I liked the way, you know.
Horrible.
Yeah. You know, and we were talking about it off air, weren't we? About lads and your boy growing up and everything else. And he had a fire. And I remember playing against Robbie Fowler years and years before. We played them in behind closed door, and it was about Robbie getting flung back for injury, but also Gerrard played in that game.
Yeah.
And that's when I just realised, like, he was head and shoulders above everybody, you know, on that game and that day. So, yeah, I've got to say Stevie.
Yeah, absolutely. He was a legend of the game.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.